Oh. Welcome back. For those that joined us earlier today, and for those joining us for the first time, it's The Valley on ESPN. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Ferrari. Northern Iowa is here for the second of the doubleheader against the home Flames of UIC. It's the first time these teams have met in 10 years, and the first time as Missouri Valley Conference rivals. The first game went the way of UNI. 8-1 was the final in that contest. It was close for a good portion of it, but UNI, as a sit 'em up and sit 'em down, a strike off to start things for the Flames. So we have another catcher in from earlier today, so you will hear me referencing the first game to now. But starting in the circle for UIC is going to be number 13, Carly Jo Clark. So again, the final earlier today was UNI 8, UIC 1. First batter up, or second batter up, in the second game. That'll be a bit outside, ball number 2. We'll get more about Carly Jo Clark throughout the afternoon, a transfer from Southern Illinois, from Carroll Stream, Illinois, went to very reputable St. Francis High School, very good softball program out there. So meeting at the mound right now. Again, some earlier numbers for today. We talked about UNI extending their record to 15-9 overall, 4-0 in MVC play. The Flames fall to 0-26 and 0-4 in the MVC. 2 hits for Ingles led the way for UIC. Lining up is Clark. That one will hit the dirt and bounce away. Chance for the play at first. They'll be safe. So mishandled play. Oh, foul ball is going to be called. So correction on that. So runner on first. Believe it was a swinging strike pass ball. But nonetheless, runner now on first. 1 out. That'll be a ball called. So again, that one runner on first base. Clark taking her time. Different battery than before. That one outside, play, and it's going to be safe at second base. So you saw the bit of aggression leading up for the leadoff hitter for UNI, or excuse me, the hitter that was on was Papillo. So runner now on second base. That'll be high. In the circle for UIC, we talked about is Carly Jo Clark. Comes in with a 9.06 ERA. Win this on the year 15th appearance. This is her 16th appearance. And her 11th start. Bunt attempt high. To no avail. So Papillo still at second. And hitting this second go-around is number 14, Madison Parks. That'll be outside. Strike called, a delayed strike called. So Papillo is actually going to be credited with the walk. So strikeout by Sanders, Papillo with the walk. And now on second. And that is going to be another walk for the Flames. So runners on first and second now with that one out. Maya Dodge now in out of Cedar Rapids Kennedy High School. 4 hits in the first one in all 4 at-bats, 2 RBIs and a run. So did the best job she could for the Panthers, helping lead to their 8-1 victory. Still with that one out, runners on first and second. Clark much more deliberate with her approach in the circle, waits and lets it rip. Strike going to be called. Clark reading the wristband and goes low and inside for another ball. Last year as a junior, Clark 25 appearances in the circle with 13 starts. Also 19 starts in the batting lineup out of 22 appearances. 91 innings as a junior. Low and outside for another ball. 4-time All-State honoree as a senior, led St. Francis to their first ever state title appearance through a 3-hitter complete game shutout to lead St. Francis to its first regional title since 2005. So and that's going to be a strike called. Wasn't able to hold the bat back. Daughter of Jeff and Lori. Clark now with the delivery. Should be a check swinging K, and it is. So runners were starting to advance a bit, but nonetheless, second out going to be called. So nice battle. That one favored the way of the Flames. So lining up now. 2 runners on, that one a bit outside. Strike going to be called. So the officiating staff has rotated a bit from game number 1 to game number 2. So you see a different approach by the home plate ump. That'll be nubbed down the first base line and go foul about 5 feet. Talked about a different lineup defensively. We'll talk about that more as time goes on. Outside, no swing. That'll be a ball. So game 1 went on the longer side of things. About 2 hours, 45 minutes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. 2 base on balls for Clark. The delivery, the swing to third, over to first in time, and that will be the end of the top half of the first. So Northern Iowa can't find any on the board. UIC looking to find their way into not only their first victory, but getting some runs here in the second game of the doubleheader. We'll be back. It's the Valley on ESPN.
With your feet on the air and your head on the ground, try this trick and spin it, yeah.
Next up.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Where's my mind? Where's my mind?
The undisputed middleweight championship is at stake.
All the making of an epic main event.
The new UFC middleweight champion of the world, Adesanya!
This is an opportunity for him to get revenge and to show how great he truly is.
The king of Miami, Jorge Gabriel Masvidal.
Back. It's the Valley on ESPN from beautiful Flames Field on the South Loop side of Chicago with the beautiful skyline in the background. I'm Peter Ferreri. Northern Iowa won game 1 of the doubleheader, 8-1. Flames had multiple opportunities with multiple players left on base, just couldn't find their way home. That'll be strike 1 called. So leading things off for UIC is number 17, Micah Ingles, who is led off for most of the season, fouls that one away. Ingles was 2 for 4 with a ribby. Left on base twice. So talking about some of those numbers in terms of left on base. Ingles left on base twice. Walker left on base twice. Cran left on base 3 times. And Villa 1 time left on base. You convert some of those to runs, it's a completely different ball game. We talked about it's only a matter of time before UIC finds their first victory. How they're able to do so, unsure of, in the sense that they haven't had these big blowouts, as that is going to go third. Oh, misplay to first. Ingles sprints to second. Play won't be there in time. So that's why you put Ingles in the wheels at your leadoff spot. She calls for time. We talked about a 2 for 4 in her opening time. I'm not sure she might have been safe. Might be an error on the third baseman. But nonetheless, runner on. Second with no outs. As we see that replay. Chopped to third. Yeah, she would have been out if it was on play. So nonetheless, strike called for the opening sequence. In the circle is going to be Sam Hayer. Or Sam Hayer, excuse me, out of Charles City, Iowa. So Ingles, an aggressive base runner. We talked time and time about her. Ingles, as that's popped fair, mishandled by the pitcher. And that should be runners at the corner with no outs. So Ingles, we talked about the threat on the pad, so we're going to check out the replay here. Walker bunts it fair. It just drops and has the spin that Hayer's not able to handle. That is a fair ball. I'm not sure if there's 2 opportunities there for an error. We'll wait to see how the official scorer handles it. But nonetheless, right down the pipe for a strike. goes against number 13, Carly Jo Clark. So she's hitting third in the lineup and in the circle for the Flames. What a turn of events. Shoots it to right. That'll go foul and not able to get there in time. Looks like to be Sammy Moss in right field. So 1-1 to be the count. 1 ball, 1 strike as looks like one of the coaches for UNI was having a conversation. Now in low and inside, ball number 2. Talked about higher, just uncharacteristic defense behind her today, but along with her mishandle, it is going to be 2 official errors. So right now, still a no-hitter. So it will be recorded an error on the 2-2 count. It will be an error on Higher and an error on the third baseman. Higher is the reigning Valley pitcher of the week. Sent out to left center. Up against the wall. 1 runner will score. The throw into third. Sliding. Safe at the corners. The Flames have a lead. 1-0 over Northern Iowa. Carly Jo Clark, as we see this just drop. No chance for the center or right fielder to get it. What a play. What a sequence. As Higher, that will be a pitch high. So runner now at second and third. So a double by Carly Jo. Anna Walker safe at third. Flared off to the right. That'll be a foul ball. Called strike. This is the first inning that you write up if you are a UIC fan. You lose in game 1 after not being able to get scores on and over. You now have no outs, 2 errors. They don't necessarily have a hit list. Or excuse me, there's the hit listed. So 1 hit, 1 run. 2-1 your count. 2 balls and a strike. Flare to the right side. Going foul, out of play. So the right fielder for UNI getting her work cut out for all the outfielders. Clark, how about that? You want to come away with the first victory of the year, have it be your own, off of your bat so far. What a battle. That one will go foul. Down and inside. So we talked about Sam Higher, the reigning MVC Player of the Week. It's her second straight Pitcher of the Week honor she has. Her 3 appearances against Murray State. Low and inside, and that'll be a walk. It's now bases loaded. No outs. As there's going to be a meeting on the mound with assistant coach Monica Wright. And I believe that's Coach Jacobs also coming out to talk to the infielder. So Coach Wright is talking to the battery, and Coach Jacobs is talking to the rest of the infield. I mean, this is really something. UIC, time and time again, game and game again. We discussed in the prior game, but the opportunity Tuesday to almost beat ranked Northwestern 6 inches away from a 2-run home run to give them a 5-4 lead. So an opportunity to beat Northwestern on Tuesday. Had the runners on base earlier today, just couldn't get them home. This is a crucial situation. Why is that? So many times the runners were on base for UIC, it was with 2 outs. There are no outs after 2 errors plated both of the runs, or had both runners on before Carly Joe hit a 1-run double. A huge opportunity now. Pitch 1 inside, right down the plate. The catcher, Emma Crowley, sends that one back. That was the heater. Again, if you can get that after that strike, 0-2 count to start things off. If you can get a strikeout to then force a double play without yielding another run, my goodness, that'll be a huge out. Let's see what. Oh, strike swinging. 3-pitch K for higher. Just what the doctor ordered. Jordan Sabeda, the third baseman. Again, pressure situation for the Flames. Right down the pipe. So the last 2 at-bats, higher, throwing them right down the pipe on the first pitch of each sequence. Dribbler. Can there be 2? 1. In time. Inning double play to finish off the threat of UIC. What a job by Hire and the infield. You had bases loaded, no outs, already a run plated, and Northern Iowa stops it after a K, followed by an inning-ending double play. UIC does get the first run. Can Northern Iowa bounce back? We'll find out. It's the Valley on ESPN.
With your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah.
Next up.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Where's my mind? Where's my mind?
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
On personal injury cases, we help people recover for the losses and damages that they've suffered as a result of being injured by somebody else's carelessness. Insurance companies are motivated to pay as little as possible or nothing on claims. When you hire us, we level the playing field. We'll fight tooth and nail on your behalf.
Nikki's donations made a huge impact on a lot of people. This one right here, sitting next to me especially. When Gift of Hope came to me and asked me for the donation, it made me feel very confident knowing that I can give my baby's heart. This is Nikki's heart beating inside Tanisha's chest.
So when I heard this pounding, like, what is that noise? And the nurse said to me, that's your heart.
I carried Nikki for 9 months. Not Tanisha's gonna carry her the rest of her life.
Say yes to donation. Start the conversation with your loved ones today.
Welcome back. It's the Valley on ESPN. 2 errors and a double was all UIC could come up with. They had bases loaded with no outs. You really thought that could have been the breakout inning for the Flames to find their way to their first victory of the year. However, higher, we talked about it back-to-back, 2-time raining. That's going to be flared off to right field. Easy catch for number 7 for UIC, that being Grace Fleming. At the plate now is going to be number 6 for UNI, Brooke Snyder. Out of Rhodes, Iowa, West Marshall High School. Outside for ball number 1. Snyder 1 for 3 with an RBI in the first game this afternoon. Takes that one outside corner. Close, but another ball called. That one inside. Strike called. And we talk about an opportunity for UIC in that bottom of the first. Only able to plate 1. Will that come back to haunt him? Grounded up the middle. Clean single by Snyder. So it'll be a runner on first, no outs. You know, Carly Jo Clark, we talked about it, has the offense and defense to deliver for this UIC squad. Good job pitching in the top half of the first. A timely double in the bottom half of the first. Ended up on second base, but nobody able to get her home. As we now sit with 1 out. And that'll be a strike called. So 0-1 for number 19, Sammy Moss, out of Mount Vernon, Iowa. Moss saw some time, no official at-bat in the first game of the doubleheader. Inside-out swing. Oh, nice job poking up. Cut off by the shortstop. Beautiful stab in left field. So number 21 in now for UNI, Darren Lamprecht out of Silver Lake, Kansas. Lamprecht was 1 for 2. Nice off-speed pitch from the circle for strike number 1. 2 walks as well for Lamprecht in the first game. Clark taking her time, delivers low, snap back to first. So runner will stay safe at first base. 1-1 your count. 2 outs. Lamprecht looking to deliver. Off speed on the outside. I will say, whether it is Santiago behind home plate or whether it's Crowley, the catchers are not afraid to do that pump fake to keep the base runner honest. That'll be a nubbler toward the left field dugout. Still on first base is Snyder. Taking her time. And Clark wants to make sure she has the right call. Outside. That'll be another ball. You can tell it's the late afternoon chill is starting to settle in. Good camera shot there showing some players in this sequence. Clark with the delivery. Inside out swing, tracking it down. Good play, running out of play to keep the runner at first. The wheels by Ingles. And that'll end the inning. So we'll head to the bottom of the second. The Flames lead 1-0 over Northern Iowa. Flames trying to find their first victory of the year. We'll see if it happens. It's the Valley on ESPN. ESPN. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Ferreri. It's the second game of the doubleheader, the home opener weekend for the Flames of UIC. They come in winless, but already have plated 1 run against the top Missouri Valley team in the standings, the Panthers of UNI. Again, to recap. Oh, bunt attempt right at the plate. Fair ball. Ooh, high. Did she come off the plate? She did not. Ooh, that was a close one. Darren Lamprecht just got the cleat from her toe onto that one. That was a close play. But that's what you want to see if you're UIC. You got to keep the Panthers on their toes. Lay down a bunt. Test the catcher. Papillo is catching today in this second game of the action. Inside, that'll be a ball. We talked about the back-to-back reigning pitcher of the week. Oh, right over the heart of the plate. Higher with a nice pitch for a strike. Higher had a complete game in the back half of a doubleheader against Murray. That'll be fouled back for a strike. Should have one-hit shutout, giving the Panthers free rein on offense to grab a 3-0 win. Showed the Racers well below their batting average to .051 during her 12 innings, along with allowing only 2 hits. And that'll be a strikeout. Tip off into the catcher's glove. So Larissa Villa now to try to do something offensively. Villa had one official at bat. The first basewoman. Taking a step back, not able to pull through. A bit of a shuffling in the batter's box by Villa. Such an outstanding defender. You're just hoping for the bat to come around a bit this year. Still hitless on the season. Showing bunt, pulls back, and you see what happened there. That's a ball, but when she pulled back, she opened up her stance a bit. So she's looking to pull based on this scenario. Pulls back, sends it out of play. Strike number 2 on the foul ball. Going back to higher, though, she had 24 Ks, no walks. And her team now a top 50 nationally ranked strikeout to walk ratio. And she ended that weekend first conference in strikeouts and strikeouts per game. That one way out of play for a ball. 112 strikeouts and 10.8 strikeouts per game. That is pretty good. And getting the K to end the inning, striking out, is Villa. So Northern Iowa comes away unscathed in inning number 2. We'll head to the top of the 3rd. Your score, UIC 1, Northern Iowa 0. It's the Valley Softball on ESPN.
With your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah.
Next up.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Where's my mind? Where's my mind?
What makes this time special? Have you ever seen an entire arena go cold? A nightmare that never rests. The unbelievable is everywhere. Welcome to the playoff push.
ESPN. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Peter Ferrari. One of the Sanders sisters is up to bat. Kylie Sanders, the younger from Grandview, Iowa. Her older sister, Haley Sanders, also on the squad. We thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon. So as we are in the top of the 3rd, back to the top of the lineup, a strikeout for Sanders is what started things for Clark. One to nothing your score. Thank you for joining us. Opening weekend, chilly conditions in Chicago. But the Flames hoping to heat things up defensively and offensively. Again, when you look at the overall record of these teams and this squad. That one lone outside for ball number 1. Discuss UIC, a close loss against Northwestern just a few days ago. Northwestern came into that game 14-8, ranked 24. With the pitcher in today's second game, Carly Jo Clark crushed a ball over the left field wall for her first home run of the season. She finished the game 2 for 4 with an RBI. And her battery mate today, Cowing, had her second home run of the season to dead center. She went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. And hit by a pitch is number 7, Kylie Sanders. So Sanders was hit by a pitch, her last at-bat in the first game. So just like that, we talked about how she leads her team in that category. That is her 9th hit by a pitch. She had 7 on the entire season coming into this doubleheader, 1 in the first, 1 in the second. And it paints the outside corner. So a Papillo in, some fans in the crowd. You can see a Papillo sign. She's 0 for 1 with a walk and a stolen base in her last time around the diamond. Deep to left, out of play. So chasing that one down in left field was Alana Cran. So quick conversation with first baseman Villa and third baseman Sabedo. Clark, as we talked about, takes her time in the circle. Outside for another ball. 2-1 your count. Top of the third. On the hitting side of things for UIC, we talked about it. Multiple errors allowed to runners on. Ingles scored the lone run. Clark, the only hit, again, between errors and walks. That was the entire offense so far for UIC in that bottom of the first. Not much going for either team since then. Only one registered hit for UNI, and that was Snyder. And the pitch just outside, and that's going to be a walk. So center fielder now coming up is going to be Parks. Parks now. Again, no official at bat as she had a walk in her first plate appearance. Runners on first and second, no out. Bunt attempt, and it hits the catcher, so that'll be a foul ball. So it had a vicious backspin. Parks was 0 for 4 with a strikeout in her first game of this doubleheader. 8-1 victory for UNI. Bunt attempt outside. That'll be a ball. This home plate umpire very close calls, but is favoring that of the hitter. So forcing those pitchers to really get it over the plate. So again, runners first and second. Parks outside, doesn't swing. 3-0. What a hitter's count. You don't want to load the bases with no outs. So can you give her something to make contact with, but not send it too far? Easier said than done. Carly Jo Clark keeps that one at the knees. And there's going to be a meeting at the mound. So I thought that was ball 4, but that must have been ball 3. My apologies. So quick conversation now between Clark and Cowley, as they want to make sure they get this next pitch Exactly where it needs to be. Three and 1 your count. So that's where that mystery fourth pitch went. No outs. First and second runners. Clark in the circle. And that's going to be a nice inside-out swing. That'll go foul. 3 and 2 full count. What a nice pitch for Clark. As she is now on her 11th batter faced. 3 walks, 2 Ks. Would love another K right here. And that's going to stay foul. Or is it going to go? It's going to go stay fair. My apologies. As that stayed fair right down the line. And just absolutely stopped dead. So, bases loaded. Clark's first pitch goes outside. Here's a nice replay as we show it just stopped dead. No play anywhere. And Dodge now in her second at bat. That'll be a ball called. 0-2 or 2-0 your count. Can't worry about the base runners now if you're Clark. Got to worry about, can you get an easy out or can you get a K? Another ball called. 3-0. We talked about the home plate umpire making the pitcher's pitch. A huge opportunity for Maya Dodge out of Cedar Rapids Kennedy High School. Right over the plate. That'll be strike number 1. Taking her time. Clark gets the call, the windup, the pitch. And that's going to be called a strike. It took a second. It is a full count. So full count, bases loaded. The last time this happened with 2 runners on, it was a walk. Or excuse me, a little nubbler. So a lot happening in this half inning. Top of the third, bases loaded. Clark, can she deliver? She does. Pop fly, out of play. It's going to hit the side netting. So Clark stays scotch-free so far. Flames looking for their first victory in their new conference, along with their first win of the season. UNI won their earlier game. In the dirt, and that will walk home a run. So Northern Iowa, bases loaded, no outs, plate their first run, bases stay loaded with number 27 up to bat, and that being Hannah Kelly out of Davenport, Iowa. So now we're going to have a quick meeting at the mound. Coach Carrillo having a conversation, trying to keep spirits light of all her team. See sun slightly peeking out. Still a blustery day. We talked about coming into today, UNI had a perfect start to the Missouri Valley Conference play with 3 wins against another newcomer in the MVC, Murray State. Panthers outscored the Racers 24-1 and also had their first Grand Slam of the season. We talked about this is the first 2 games since 2013 when these two teams played. Overall series with UIC is now 9-3 after UNI's earlier victory. So bases loaded, no outs. Outside corner, there will be a strike called. So 0-1. Got to get used to this home plate officially. He stands up and he kind of waits a second. So Kelly at the plate. Kelly 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs in the earlier contest. Hogan on deck, Snyder in the box. Kelly, 1 at bat. Popped up and able to snag that cleanly is second baseman Ingles. So first out, a crucial out for UIC. Now, why do I say that? As we talked about what happened, just to recap, in the bottom of the first for UIC, 2 errors, had 2 runners on. Clark with a double knocked one of them home, walked to load the bases with no outs, and then a K and a double play ended what could have been an explosive half inning for the Flames. Nonetheless, 1-1 inside, ball called. So we're tied at 1 apiece. At the plate now is Taylor Hogan out of Columbus Catholic High School. Hogan 0 for 1 in her plate appearances today. Was 0 for 3 with a run and a walk earlier. So that's outside. That'll be a strike called, 1-1. Clark now, her 14th batter faced. Strike 2 called. Nice job painting that outside corner. 4 walks so far in the early going for Clark to go along with 2 Ks in her 2 innings and a third pitched. And that'll go back to Clark. And a nice play, force out at home. Outstanding awareness by not only the pitcher Clark, but Crowley to be ready, back behind home plate. So it'll be still bases loaded, fielder's choice, force out at home. Can UIC come away with a very similar situation that UNI had in the bottom of the first? With 2 outs, bases loaded. As that'll be down in the dirt for pitch number 1, 1-0 your count. Thank you for joining us. It's the Valley on ESPN, NCAA softball. Home opening weekend for the Flames. Lots of cool opportunities here. Posters, merch. That'll be Skosh outside. 2-0 your count. So after a walking home a run, 2 quick outs for the Flames. Don't want to see them, if you're a UIC fan, give up another. But again, with a quick swing of the bat, Snyder can really break things open. So got to be careful if you're UIC. And that's going to be a 3-0 count. All pitches just on the outside. So now if you're Snyder, you got one of the 2 hits so far for UNI, 1 for 1. What can you deliver here? And that's going to be a 4-pitch walk. So Clark walks home, another run. We want to remind everybody, Flames fans, don't miss a second of the action all season long. Catch the Flames on ESPN+, the video streaming home of UIC, or listen to the audio from each game for free on the Flames Network. Head to uicflames.com/watch for all the action. And that'll be a strike called. So still with 2 outs, UNI has that 1-run lead. Both runs were scored on walks. That one outside, 1-1 your count now. Taking a very deep breath before getting back in the batter's box is Moss, 0 for 1. In her singular plate appearance, as she sends that one foul into the netting, so 1-2. Want to remind everybody, stay social with the Flames so you don't miss any of the action. Follow Flames Softball at UIC_softball or UIC Athletics at UIC Flames on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest content on all things UIC Athletics. Outside, sent right back to the backstop. That was her cut. She knows it. So let's see what Moss can do now with this continued 1-2 count. Moss, we talked about, not an official at-bat in the earlier game today. Clark now. 16th batter faced. And that's going to be a strikeout to end the half inning. So on 2 walks to knock home runs, Northern Iowa has taken the lead 2-1 against the Flames. When we come back, bottom of the 3rd action, the Valley on ESPN.
With your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah.
Next up.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Where's my mind? Where's my mind?
ABC Hockey Saturday. 2 teams on a mission face off. It's a Steel City showdown. Bruins Penguins, Saturday on ABC and ESPN+.
The Valley on ESPN. Northern Iowa scored 2 in the top of the third by Walks forcing the runner home. But then Clark able to get a crucial and clutch K to end the continual bases-loaded threat. And quick play on the first pitch swinging out from the shortstop over to the first baseman, and that'll be out number 1 for UNI. So Walker will now be up. Walker, we talked about 1 for 3 the last time up, or excuse me, in the earlier game. No official at-bat after she ended up on an error. It'll be down for ball number 1. Lamprecht holding down things at first base so well for UNI. I know a lot of times defensive first basemen don't get mentioned. Not to mention how she's hitting 183 coming into today's game. Did have a run in the earlier contest. That'll be low for another ball. Waiting for the delivery is higher. And Walker kind of shakes her head after that one. That was out of play, but that'll be a strike. Let's see what Walker can deliver now. Oh, swinging strike for the second strike of that sequence. So higher was up, or is down, you could say, 3-0 against Walker, and then a fouled back and a swinging strike has led the count to full. Walker sends that towards center, and it'll be actually picked up by Moss, the right fielder. So out number 2, just as quick. So 2-1, 2 quick outs. That one in the dirt for ball number 1. Trying to help her own case, Carly Jo Clark. Spoke about what Clark has done this season. .239 batting average. Right over the heart of the plate at the knees for a strike. 46 at-bats with 11 hits, 4 runs for Carly Jo. That'll be a ball called high above the letters. Talk about the outstanding season Higher has had, though, and all the accolades. Talk about she got her first Pitcher of the Week accolade on March the 14th. That'll be a out-of-play strike. Panthers now have had 5 players named MVC weekly honors since the 3rd week of the season, including infielder Hannah Kelly, catcher Alexis Papillo, and pitcher Kaylin Packard. Also been named conference weekly honors. So Packard started the first game. That one fouled straight back yet again. So that's something to have 2 pitchers get Pitcher of the Week accolades, one of which got it this pitcher Higher twice. So 3 total weeks Pitcher of the Week for UNI. Coach Jacobs and Coach Wright really can find some winners in the circle for this Panthers squad. Higher a red-shirted junior, Packard a red-shirted senior. Not to mention Wisnowski has seen some relief appearances so far. Oh, that'll drop right over the plate. ringing them up. Northern Iowa keeps the 2-1 lead as we head to the top of the fourth. It's Northern Iowa 2, UIC 1, the Valley on ESPN. Opening weekend not only of the season for UIC, but in their Valley play at home. They are 0-25, 0-26 overall on the season. So many close contests as we've talked about, including that of Tuesday's tilt against Northwestern. You know, what Coach Carrillo had to say, I thought we came out aggressive. I thought we did a great job moving runners. We had 2 big hits from Carly and Haley. If we tightened up that defense, it's a different score, which was truly that circumstance. Toniolo pitched that entire game for the Flames. That'll be in the dirt for ball number 1. But when we talk about some of those close losses for the Flames, the final score against Northwestern was 6-3. They were trailing 4-3. 0-1 loss against Dayton. 0-2 loss against Dayton. They lost in extras to Fresno State 4-3 and 8. Also lost in extras against St. Francis, Feb the 10th in extras. Also a few games canceled, Connecticut, Georgia Tech, and including their game that was supposed to take place 48 hours ago Wednesday against Eastern Illinois. It'll be inside, but strike called. As Clark continues her way in the circle. And we talked about one of the differences between Clark and her other pitching teammate. She takes her time in the circle. Oh, we got a second one. Want to remind everybody, when the Flames win, you win. Make a pledge to celebrate baseball and softball wins this season. With the new Pledge Per Win campaign, the first 50 fans that pledge $10 or more get the opportunity to receive an exclusive UIC baseball and softball apparel. Visit uicflames.com for more details. Inside corner, strike called. Count that full. Clark now lines up. In the air and foul. Count stays full. Become a member of the Flames Athletic Fund today. The annual scholarship fund supports all 300 of UIC student athletes through generous donations made by Flames supporters. Learn more on how to get involved by visiting uicflames.com/FAF or by calling 312-996-9002. That's 312-996-9002. Count full. 2-1 your score. Pulled foul again. Nice battle in the top of the fourth. Again, we talked about how UIC has had some close games, just haven't been able to close out. You know, when speaking with Coach Jacobs about it, he said you can't always show up to the ballpark and expect the same thing. And that'll be a ball called on the outside. So an extended sequence allows for a walk as Clark just outside. But when talking with Coach Jacobs about this new conference opponent. He's like, you have to learn early in the season. You know, you can't get stuck in your ways. He goes, you got to have people settle into their roles and create that sense of comfortability. But you have to also understand that a successful team is, quote, always a work in progress. So that's how Coach Jacobs approached non-conference play coming into this past weekend against Murray and now against the Flames. Bunt attempt, it actually hit the foot. A lot going on. So I believe the runner will be safe at second. They might send her back because here's what I believe happened. It should be a strike called because number 7, so there's the meeting on the mound. Okay, so Sanders is now going to first. Now she held out the bat as she was going to bunt, but then it hit her foot, but her foot looked like it was over the base. So it looked like her foot was in the line of the pitch over the plate. So as if your hand was over the plate, her foot was over the plate because she was hopping to try to get the bunt out of the way. Then there was a stolen base attempt, but they may say hit by a pitch, runner on first, and automatic give to second. So if you see here, great job by the replay crews and operators, because to me it looked, again, just from, I don't have all the angles that the officials do. I think they're telling her to come back home. I could be wrong. So Coach Jacobs is now going to have a conversation. Again, just to recap. Runner on first, who is currently on first, number 7, Kylie Sanders, is known for being hit by a pitch. She went for the bunt, and while pulling the bunt back, her left foot kind of like a shift of the hip. So we are going to have an official replay. So it will be officially under review. So to finish the recap, the lefty, went for the bunt, pulled the bat back while bunting, but while pulling it back, and she wasn't flat-footed, her left foot came up. Her left foot, in my opinion, seemed to go over the plate, and that it was. So if you look at it this way, say she didn't swing at all or attempt to fake bunt, it would have been a strike. So because her foot was then in the flight path of the ball during what would have been a strike and her foot hit over the base, that should be a called strike. And then there was a stolen base attempt, but the stolen base attempt should be null and void because it still hit a player, stoppage of play. In my opinion, it should be number 7, Sanders, at home, and the runner that's at second, and the runner second should be back at first. So we'll see. Again, we don't have all the vantage points that the officials do. 2-1 your score, a pivotal situation. UIC trailing by but 1. Northern Iowa would love to extend the lead. All right, here's a great angle of it. There's the fake bunt, and there's the foot almost kicking the catcher's mitt. And the only way that is the only way the foot touches the mitt is if it's, close enough to do so. But when you saw the other camera angle, this overhead wide shot, that ball's trajectory was straight from the pitcher over the plate. So if the catcher's mitt is over the plate, you know what? But I believe they're going to say, I am completely wrong. Calling the field is going to stand. So they're going to say her foot wasn't over the plate. She pulled the bat back in time, and it will be hit by a pitch. Runners on first and second. What a sequence for UNI. No outs. So again, the wonder that is Kylie Sanders continuing to get hit by a pitch does so with a hop move. But again, the officials had different camera angles than I did, so they must have seen that indeed the pitch was trailing, not over the plate when it made contact with her foot. Bat, we did clearly see the bat was back, so that wasn't the question. The question was, where was the foot in relation to the ball? And that'll be a passed ball down third base line. Runners now advance to second and third. So the reason I say all that is now, instead of a runner going from first to second on a pass ball, or whatever the sequence may be, second and third, no outs, UNI, with a good hit ball, could really crack things open for the visiting Panthers. So again, just to put that prior sequence to bed, now on second base is Kylie Sanders. Another hit by a pitch, second in the game, outside corner, and that will be a ball. So Sanders just, she's so close to the plate. You got to be spot on. Carly Clark was not. Now Sanders sits at second. Not able to frame it. Another ball, 3-1 your count, and we're going to have another meeting at the mound. While we have a second, want to remind everybody, MVC, Missouri Valley Conference, their baseball championships coming up. The Missouri Valley Conference heads to Terre Haute, Indiana for the 2023 baseball championship. Watch as the league's 10 teams compete this May for a trip to the NCAA tournament. Don't miss any of the action. For UICFlames.com for more details. Since 1907, the Valley runs deep. So for the other program, the lovely Flames baseball program, make sure you check them out. Also, Adidas is proud to serve as the official apparel provider of UIC Athletics. Adidas, through sport, we have the power to change lives. So Clark now 3-1 the count, 2 runners on, trying to avoid bases loaded. What netted both runs for UNI, and that's going to be pushed foul. Nice heavy pitch. Papillo doing a great job in the batter's box. 2 walks so far and a stolen base. The lefty. Clark takes her time. The pitch. Shot foul again. A battle indeed. When you look at a Flames squad that is trying so desperately to get their first win, you never want to be the squad that allows that first win. UNI, speaking with Coach Jacobs, he said, we don't talk about it. Because you talk about it, you give it life. So we're just not going to have conversations about it. We're going to talk about what we need to do this weekend to win each and every game. Oh, inside, off speed, beautiful play. Carly Clark just pulled the string. A beautiful out pitch. So Northern Iowa gets their first out with still runners on. Pinch runner number 5, Maggie Erpulding. The 5'6" junior out of Bettendorf, Iowa. Pinch runner now at third. Still have Sanders at second. So Parks, that one will be down for a ball called. Parks 1 run, 1 hit. on one walk. The wind is quite picking up here at Flames Field. Outside corner, that'll be another ball. So just after getting out of a jam on the previous batter, Clark right back in the Lions' den. Parks a wide open stance. That one low. And that'll be another ball. Three and 0. Runners second and third, top of the fourth. Clark allowing a lot of base runners today, but only allowing 2 runs. That'll be a strike called, a crucial strike. 3 and 2, full count. Can Clark get another payout pitch? Pulled the string on the last batter. Let's see what she can deliver today. That'll be low and smacked foul. All players and coaches just trying to stay warm a bit. Parks now lines up again. Madison Parks out of Pella, Iowa. Inside, ringer up. Good pitch, the same one. Carly Jo Clark. 2 outstanding full count pitches to ring up the prior 2 hitters. My goodness. Disastrous pitch. Breaks the knees. Runners now still second and third, top of the fourth. 2-1. That'll be over the plate for strike 1. If you look at the Panthers situation, now you had second and third with no outs after an official review hit by a pitch and then a pass ball. So what could have been disastrous is now within striking distance for the Flames to come out unscathed. Another strike. So 2 pitches, 2 strikes, as Clark now 1 pitch away from getting out of this half inning. And trying to thwart that attempt is going to be Dodge. Nice outside pitch by Clark to try to get Dodge swinging. Talked about in the prior game, Dodge, the workout warrior for the Panthers. She went 4 for 4 in the opening game with a run and 2 RBIs. Led the way in the hitting column for both squads. Pulls that one just foul. Dodge stays alive. Flames still need 1. Dodge the righty. Clark delivers. Trying to frame the outside corner to no avail was Emma Crowley. Santiago got the start behind the dish in game number 1. Crowley getting the start at catcher in game number 2. Maya Dodge out of Hiawatha Sends that fair. Oh, just pass and a mishandle. That will score 2. Outstanding conviction by Dodge to keep up with that at bat. Pulled it just fair down the third base line, past the third baseman, Sabato, and just like that, Northern Iowa extends their lead. Four to 1 your score, 2 outs. Mishandled on the third base line. Pitch off to first base. So the only base runner now sits at first base. That is the aforementioned number 12, Dodge, the left fielder. One pitch away was Clark to get out of the jam. Dodge, just a beautiful piece of hitting. Outside, Crowley able to hold on to that before that goes out of play. Or I should say, a pass ball. Dodge, one of the faster players as well. Shot up the middle. Easy play, short to first. But not before Northern Iowa gets 2 more runs on a clutch piece of hitting with 2 outs and 2 strikes against her. Dodge brings Northern Iowa and their lead up 4-1 against the Flames. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. It's the Valley on ESPN.
With your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah.
Next up.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Where's my mind? Where's my mind?
Bring it in for the XFL with the first look at some rising stars.
Abram Smith.
And a new opportunity for others.
Danucci, he's in!
Week 7 kicks off Friday on FX, continues on ESPN2 and ESPN Saturday, and wraps up Sunday on ESPN.
Your score, Northern Iowa 4, UIC 1. It's the Valley on ESPN with the beautiful skyline of Chicago in the background from Flames Field. I'm Peter Ferreri. Thank you for joining us this Friday afternoon, second game of the doubleheader. Just about halfway through the second game. And Heyer had a long time sitting off the side, comes with a first pitch strike. That was a very long half inning for Northern Iowa to plate them 2 runs. Inside for ball 1. Flames now looking for some opportunity to come back. We talked about, and she'll swing through for strike number 2. Cowling, who's DHing today. But in the bottom of the first, UIC bases loaded, no outs. That'll go to right. Is able to get that down as Moss, but it was bases loaded, no outs, a strikeout by the next batter, and then a inning-ending double play short to second to first. And we said then, you don't want to have that be your only scoring opportunities against a top conference-ranked team in the Panthers. So number 18 is up right now, Sabedo. 2 times left on base. That's one of the Achilles heels for this Flames squad, is the amount of times left on base. And she'll pull that one back. And there's going to be a foul shot as well. Pulling back high and outside, higher. Sent it a bit higher. Shocked I haven't said that yet today. Pitches on the mark. And sitting down is the UIC Flames. So Sabedo now up. Sabedo, her first official, or second official at bat, sends that one easy to short. Sanders over to first, and that's going to end the half inning in short order. Northern Iowa keeps their lead 4-1. We go to the top of the 5th. It's the Valley on ESPN.
With your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah.
Next up.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Where's my mind? Where's my mind?
Bring it in for the XFL with the first look at some rising stars.
Abram Smith.
And a new opportunity for others.
Danucci, he's in!
Week 7 kicks off Friday on FX, continues on ESPN2 and ESPN Saturday, and wraps up Sunday on ESPN.
It's the Valley on ESPN. Northern Iowa 4, the Flames of UIC 1. Top of the 5th inning. Hello, everybody. Peter Ferreri. The Flames hoping to not allow any more damage. Already down by 3 against the red-hot Panthers squad, who sit now 15-9 overall, 4-0 in conference play after their earlier victory. Again, as we saw earlier today, 8-1 was the final there. UIC only able to get that one run. In the prior games, Northwestern and the 3 runs scored by UIC against the Wildcats was one of the highest outputs they had all year. They had 3 against Austin Peay. 3 against South Florida, Feb the 25th. 3 against Idaho State in the second game of that doubleheader. 3 in their very close 4-3 inning loss to Fresno State. And that will be it for the 3-run games. UIC has not scored more than 3. Hoping to change that outlook here today. But it needs to start with weathering the storm, as number 15, Taylor Hogan, is at the plate now. Hogan 0 for 3 with a run and a walk in the first game today. Outside, hit sharply to first. Not able to run back, and it's going to be a safe play. So Larissa Villa was able to snatch a beautiful hit, however, was torn in between tossing it to her teammate, number 17, Ingles, or running it herself, decided to use her length and try to dive and have the mitt touch the plate. Did not happen. Runner at first. Clark gets that one over the plate for strike number 1. That one shot way foul. Snyder has a 1-1 count. Calm, cool, and collected while in the batter's box. Not a lot of pomp and circumstance. Lines up, swings. Not on that one, though. Recently, UIC competed in the Governor's Classic. Carly Jo Clark, the pitcher in the circle. Gets a nice K there. 1 down, 1 runner on. But she held batters to a 184 batting average in 14 innings pitched in that priorly mentioned Governor's Classic. That one inside. Hole number 1. And we talked about probably not the season Coach Carrillo was expecting. You know, she has 300 career wins between her tenure at Wright State from 2011 to 2016 and then 2017 to present with the UIC Flames. She's also a Flames alumnus. As that one shot into left center, nobody's there. Are they sending her home? And they will, so mishandle coming into the cutoff as it hit the dirt by the shortstop. So to recap, it was already hitting a open spot in the left field area. Cran then threw it into the cutoff of Walker, but it hit right at the ground and the feet of Walker. She couldn't pick it up in time. Northern Iowa extends their lead 5-1. 1 out, and the runner now at second after the mishandle. So Sammy Moss now at second. So again, it's a similar story. Of the Flames just getting a run and their opponent 1 run at a time, not necessarily in bunches. That goes inside. Sammy Moss really getting a strong lead after each and every pitch. Inside yet again for another ball. Sammy Moss really trying to show off some wheels. Out of Mount Vernon High School. exercise science major. The runner on second. As we show her there. Two siblings. Minor of sports administration. Softball, soccer, and basketball player in high school. Was a second team All-State. That one drops out of play, and that will be a base on balls. So runners now first and second. Lamprecht now at first. Sometimes they've pinch run for her, so we'll stay aware if they do so. That one just on the outside, but strike called. So runner still on second. Sanders, who has been hit by a pitch, makes contact with that one. So one official at-bat, 2 runs, and a strikeout in that official at-bat for Sanders. Outside. To no avail. Another ball. Runners on first and second. Still that solo out. Thought about swinging at it. I'm not sure if they're going to call a strike. They're checking with the third base umpire. 2-2, your count. Clark checks the wrist and delivers. Shot up the middle. Will it stop in time? No play. So UNI now. Bases loaded, 1 out. It just passed Clark. Walker couldn't run in on it in time. No play anywhere. Ducks on the pond with 1 out. I don't necessarily see anybody warming up in the bullpen, but that could just be from my vantage point. And we do have a pitching change. So Clark is checking out, and checking in number 14 will be none other than Tonolino. We'll let Tonolino warm up when we come back. Continuation of ESPN Softball for the Valley. Welcome back. It's the Valley on ESPN. Bases loaded for Northern Iowa. 1 out. As already a conversation at the mound. Just want to make sure signals don't get crossed, especially with this substitution. So Tonolino now in the earlier tilt today. Christina Tonolino. 3 1/3 innings pitch, 6 hits, 5 runs, all 5 earned, 6 walks. Comes into a pressured situation, 5-1. Shot foul for ball number 1. Wind continues to pick up as we pass the 5 o'clock local time mark. Outside, not able to frame it. We talked about the great job by both rotating catchers, that of Crowley and Santiago for the Flames, and their ability to frame the pitches so well. No success there. 2-0 the count. Tonolito checks. Delivers, pulled, fair! That will score at least 1. But good job with the cutoff. Didn't flare enough into right field, as that'll net another run. Score now stands 6-1. Still 1 out. Bases still loaded. So Madison Parks up yet again. High pitch. Tried to get her to chase, didn't do so. Parks, 1 official at bat, a hit, a strikeout, and a walk, and a run. A lot of ones for her today. Shot into right center that'll drop in front of the right fielder. Play at second. They'll get the force out for at least 1 out. That'll score another one. As by our accounts, it's runners at first and third, 2 outs, 7-1. So Tonolino in her first 2 batters faced. As we see the shot, kind of a delayed run by Papillo. Outside corner, strike called. 0-1. But we talked about the situation that Tonolino has been called into. Pitch over at second. Oh, a bobble. Surprised the runner at third didn't try for home. But with 2 outs, let's, if you are Northern Iowa, you want to say, hey, let's just be a little safe. Now a nice line shot could score 2. Inside. You can see with the 2 outs that the runner Parks is taking a generous hop after the pitch because she's going to be off running on contact. Outside corner, another ball. So 3-1. 2 outs, runners on second and third. Wouldn't be surprised if they just intentionally walk Dodge at this point. The only challenge is knowing that she is one of the fastest players on the diamond today. So do you try to get her to hit something? Just give her an ugly pitch, or do you just put her on? So let's see what they go with here. Wouldn't be surprised either way. Inside out swing, back, drops in fair. not able to field it cleanly. It just turned around. The right fielder, Fleming, for UIC, dodges all smiles as it is a 2 more runs scored and should be a 9-1 lead. Dodge ends up at third with a triple. So an 8-run lead for UNI as Tonolino came in relief of Clark, but has been hit very hard. All with 2 outs. Off speed over the middle. Sure, Northern Iowa would be more than happy to get that runner from third home. 1-1 your count. Okay. Toniolo on the outside. Two and 1 your count. That one low, but she swung. Not happy with her decision. Clearly, for UNI is Kelly. 3 times left on base, 3 official at bats. 2-2 your count. Can Toniolo get out of this without allowing that runner at third to come home? Line shot out of play to the right, hitting the netting. Kelly lives on. Pitch outside, count runs to full. Something to keep in mind if Toniolo is able to not allow another run. Mercy rule is 8 runs after 5, so UIC, by all accounts, would have to plate another run to head to the 6th. Good contact again. That one goes foul. So again, 8 or more, so we are at the 8-run mark as we stand. That's why if you're the Panthers, you'd like to extend it to 9 to get that Mercy Rule insurance run. If you are UIC, you want to keep it to only needing 1 to continue on. Popped up in the air. Not playable. Hitting the stands. Count still full. Runner still at third. 2 outs. Shot to second, over to first. And UIC will get out of the top of the 5th. So the score now stands Northern Iowa 9, the Flames of UIC 1. Flames need at least 1 to send it to the 6th inning. Northern Iowa will try to end it in the bottom of the 5th. When we come back, it's NCAA softball. It's the Valley on ESPN. We've reached the bottom of the 5th in the second game of a doubleheader. Alana Cran trying to keep the hopes of UIC alive. as Northern Iowa in the bottom half of the last inning, or in the top half of the fifth, extended their lead to 8, which where if UIC cannot get one more, the game will end. Bunt attempt called for a strike. UIC had the 1-0 lead heading into the third before UNI got 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and really broke things open with 5 runs scored in the fifth. That right down the pipe for the second strike. Higher, after a rocky first inning, has really calmed down and put out the flames of UIC. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 5 Ks. UNI sits with 9 runs on 7 hits and 2 errors. We talked about those 2 errors in the first. And that's going to be a K to start things off in the bottom of the fifth. Now up is number 10 for UIC. Isabella Garcia, the 5'7" junior out of Whitney Young High School, to pinch hit. Her first time seeing action in either game, so did not play in the first and pinch hitting here in the second. Isabella Garcia, we talked about the 5'7" junior, local product from Chicago. That pitch high. Garcia, 3-year letter winner at Whitney Young. Also lettered a year in swimming. Won the city championships 2016, 17, and 19. Regional title in those same years. First CPS sectional championship in history in 2019. Swings through that one. And that'll be out number 2, strikeout number 2. So, hopes now rest on Larissa Ortiz's shoulders, the Romeoville, Illinois student product transfer from Wisconsin. So I believe ducks are actually on the field, and I think a center fielder is chasing the duck away. There's the duck flying away past Old Glory, moving off to the right now, and the duck is out of the frame. Low and inside, ball. Nice swing, sending it right back. The righty swings through a second one. 2-1 your count, 2 outs. Larissa Ortiz did come in off the bench against Northwestern. She came in midway through the same top of the fifth and landed a base hit past the third baseman. And her lone at bat. Swinging through low. And that's going to be it. As UNI comes out victorious. Mercy rule, in fact, intact. 9-1 your final as the Flames fall in both games at home on their opening weekend at the UIC Flames Field. To recap, some of the others: UNI 9 runs on 7 hits, 2 errors. UIC 1 run in the first on 1 hit and 1 error. 8 base runners left on base for UNI to 2 of UIC. 22 at-bats for UNI to 16 for the Flames. 1 double apiece for each squad, a triple for UNI. And coming away victorious is UNI. So on behalf of all the staff, crew, operators that bared with us through a chilly doubleheader, we thank them for their outstanding job. The Flames and Panthers will be back Sunday for the 3rd game of the 3-game series. That will be a 1 o'clock Central Standard Time first pitch. So again, from Flames Field in Chicago, Northern Iowa 9, UIC 1. Thank you for joining us. This has been a presentation of NCAA Softball, the Valley, on ESPN. Have a good rest of your